Pentecost is numbered among the greatest feasts of the Christian Church. On the seventh Sunday after the resurrection, the apostles and some of Jesus' closest disciples, around 120 people in all, were gathered in the upper room where they retreated after the resurrection. Matthias had already been chosen as an apostle to replace Judas. They watched and prayed for the Paraclete Jesus promised to send to them. Ever notice how prayer played an important role in the event of Jesus' life? At his conception, Mary was in prayer when the angel Gabriel was sent to her to announce she was to be the Mother of God. After Jesus' baptism, he was praying when the heavens opened up and the Holy Spirit descended upon him. And it was during prayer at night when the transfiguration took place. And so it was when the Paraclete came to the upper room. They were in prayer. Suddenly a mighty wind came, but it was not a natural wind that filled the whole room. It was a miracle peculiar to the moment. Then came the tongues of fire which descended on each one of them, two signs that the power of the Holy Spirit had come down and was present. Cannot prayer be as powerful in our lives as it was in those faithful followers years ago? The Holy Spirit is the Paraclete which Jesus promised to send and is the same intercessor or advocate John speaks of. These are all terms derived from a legal setting. A paraclete or advocate is a person who goes to court with you for your support, a defense attorney. The Holy Spirit might be thought as our defense attorney, standing at our side as our strength, guiding us through life's daily routines. A sympathetic ear, so we can proceed with confidence in turning our lives around, not in a tongue of fire and a loud wind, but in a quiet whisper in the heart. We are told those in the upper room, after the Holy Spirit descended on them, began to preach, and all understood them, regardless of the language they spoke. Pentecost was at the time of one of the major Jewish festivals, so Jerusalem was filled with many people from all over, speaking different tongues and dialects, and they understood the apostles and disciples. This reminds me of the story we are told in Genesis, which is also the first reading from the Pentecost Vigil Mass, the Tower of Babel. This is where the people tried to build a tower to heaven, and God showed his irritation with them by causing them to speak in different languages. This story, the Tower of Babel, seems to indicate that our failure to communicate today has been a problem for societies from the beginning. Many unhappy and troubled families have a related communication problem. Dysfunctional families can't be honest with one another, and like the results from the Tower of Babel, this dysfunction is passed on from one generation to the next. What can we do about this? Not much without a power greater than ourselves. The Feast of Pentecost celebrates the coming of that power, the Holy Spirit. When the Holy Spirit came to the disciples, they were given the gift of tongues and became able to communicate with many nations. When we are open to the Spirit, we can also communicate with many people, not with the tongue, but with the language of the heart, a language that all people speak. Our gift of tongues, infused into us by the Holy Spirit, is the gift of love, which all men understand. Love unites. Love is a common language. By means of love, we can speak to all nations. Do we accept the Spirit entering into our lives and hearts Or do we put up a roadblock by closing our hearts and ears? Only you can answer that question. The Holy Spirit has come and is there for us all to accept with an open ear and a soft heart. It is up to you.